Hello again, class. It's good to see you all again. I apologize for not uploading this on a Monday like I typically try to do, but for some reason when I recorded my audio for this class, it just mysteriously disappeared when I went to go edit it. I couldn't find it anywhere. So that's why this is a day or two late, depending on when I get it out. But regardless, today we are going back to the Fallout universe, specifically kinda to Fallout 3. And today we are talking of the horrifying legend of Vault 77. Now, if you don't know, Vault Tech is obviously sketchy in the Fallout universe. A lot of their vaults that were advertised as way for you and your family to survive the possible apocalypse were secretly tests for several different experiments for how people could survive given certain circumstances or certain variables, etc. And this one, Vault 77, was a test isolation, as Vault 77 only had a singular occupant. Now, a little prelude, a little warm up here. The reason how we get this story is not quite from the games, but rather it was when Bethesda collaborated with Penny Arcade to create a webcomic to promote the release of Fallout 3 as it was coming out at the time. And they decided to focus on the sole dweller of Vault 77. Now, as we all know, the Great War started in 2077. The bombs fell, people rushed to the vaults, the door slammed behind the man. But he was the only one inside. We see him in the comic banging on the door, pleading for the doors to open back up. No one else got inside, it's just him. Everyone else is still stuck out there. But the vault never opens back up. And we can see 4 months later he's having a breakdown. The isolation definitely getting to him by this point. Perhaps a lot of survivor's guilt as well. Why him? Why was he the only one to make it in? Was it some kind of mistake? Did he do something wrong? You can only imagine what 4 months of complete and total isolation after such an event like this could do to somebody. And it wasn't until 1 year, 3 months, and 12 days into his isolation that he finally got a bit of reprieve. You see, the sole occupant of Vault 77 found a box of puppets. At first, they were a nice distraction, a way for him to talk to something, entertain himself perhaps, make little scenarios in his head, a nice little break from the boredom. However, 2 months into having these puppets, we see something rather dark start to form. They all seem to have their own distinct personalities that he's given them, and he starts to treat them as if they are at least somewhat real. Later on, after an unknown amount of time, we see the lone dweller walking past that box full of puppets again, except this time he realizes he forgot to take one out. But what's different about this one is that it's talking to him. Not a voice through him, but talking with its own voice. At least that's how he perceives it. We can see that through this, as he is surprised that it can talk, that while he maybe considers the puppets to be living things, he at the very least can tell that they cannot talk on their own and that they must talk through him. However, this one seems to be able to talk all on its own. And this puppet is a puppet of the Vault Boy mascot that we see throughout the Fallout games and the Fallout franchise as a whole. Later, a puppet that is a sort of king character gets quote-unquote murdered. Now, the sole occupant of Vault 77 thinks that it's the Vault Boy puppet that did it. However, the Vault Boy puppet not only accepts this and doesn't deny it, but says that the man also helped him. The man has no memory of this, but regardless, he and the Vault Boy puppet flee the vault, not wanting to be ousted by the other puppets or found out that he's secretly a murderer. So he and the Vault Boy puppet leave the vault, leaving all the other puppets behind. We see the man surviving in the wasteland, eventually taming and riding a giant red ant at one point even. However, at one point he does get kidnapped by a group of slavers. And while kidnapped, he's strangely not pleading for his life. He's not begging, "Oh, please let me go, please don't torture me, please don't kill me, please don't turn me into a slave," or anything like that. Instead, he's warning the slavers. Don't anger the puppet. It's crazy. You don't want to upset it, and so on and so forth. Now, the slavers, understandably, just kind of brush this guy off as being crazy and start debating on whether or not they're going to turn him into a slave or if they're just going to eat him. However, off screen, we see that the man broke free of his bonds, and that one of the two slavers that had kidnapped him is now dead. The other slaver goes back to his group, pleading with his fellow gang, saying that we ran into this guy, he killed the other one, I don't know if he followed me, I don't know where he is, I don't know if he's coming. And his fellow men start telling him, "You're crazy, like one guy did this, what could one guy do?" But then we hear clanging, possibly banging on a door or something of that nature, as the man simply says, "He's coming." And in the next panel we see that all the slavers are dead. The Vault Boy puppet is covered in blood on the man's hand as he has a crazed look in his eyes. Now, we can originally possibly write this comic off. Maybe it was just a promotional piece, not actually canon, or perhaps it kind of is, but it's just sort of told as a wasteland legend of sorts, of the one crazed Vault 77 dweller and his crazed puppet going around the wasteland and killing people as he goes. But one thing that adds quite a lot of credibility to the story is that you can actually find the Vault 77 jumpsuit in Paradise Falls in Fallout 3, with a holotape next to it saying to burn the jumpsuit when you get a chance.
Like I told you, man, I don't fucking know where it came from, but it freaks the boys out. Some story from a while back about a stranger with no name. Just get rid of the damn thing. Ain't no good gonna come from keeping it around. Besides, if it is his, maybe he'll come back for it. Comprende?
Now, we don't really know how he lost his jumpsuit. Perhaps he was finally killed at some point and someone just kind of took it off of him. Maybe someone made it as a sort of testament to the legend. Or perhaps the Vault 77 dweller just simply took it off and exchanged it for something better to better suit the survivability of the wasteland. We don't really know, although I do hope we see more of him one day, whether that be in the Fallout TV show or in a future game. Only time will tell. But that's all for today's lesson. That is the legend of the Soul Dweller of Vault 77. What do you guys all think? Do you think this is just some legend of the wasteland told to children wastelanders by their parents to make them stay home and not stay out too late at night? Is he a ghostly bedtime story? Or in the vast wastes of the Fallout universe, is there a sole occupant of a vault long gone crazy from isolation? Only time will tell, I suppose. But until next time.